Starting stateside, the Vice President there being accused of staging a very expensive PR stunt as NFL players continue to take a knee. Please explain.
Yes, the NFL, the American Football League players, have been staging protests, not all of them, but some of them, for over a year now, and it's all based around racial inequality and primarily police brutality. Now, Mike Pence went along to an Indianapolis Colts game on Sunday and said, "I left today's game because POTUS and I will not dignify any event that disrespects our soldiers, our flag or our national anthem." Now, a lot of people have been talking about the fact that this was all part of a plan. They knew that some of the players were going to take a knee during the national anthem. There is Mike Pence and his wife standing during the national anthem with their hands on their hearts. But what The Atlantic is asking, among many others, is was this just a flagrant waste of taxpayer money? Now, what they say here in The Atlantic is that by fleeing the entire game, he adopted the tactics of a childish, petulant snowflake. But a lot of people very concerned about exactly how much money was spent here. Huffington Post estimating $200,000. I've seen many estimates higher than that. The reason it costs so much, not only is there security, but he flew there from Las Vegas, then flew on to Newport Beach in California afterwards. And a lot of people believing this is a stunt because reporters who were at the game were told to hang around and expect an early exit. So basically the feeling was this was pre-prepared. They knew the players were going to stage a protest. They knew that Mike Pence would then stage his own counter-protest. Donald Trump, the American president, very happy with this, saying the trip had been long planned. He's receiving great praise for leaving the game after the players showed such disrespect for the country. Lots of people not sharing that sentiment, though. Politicians too. This particular Congressman Adam Schiff says after all the scandals involving unnecessarily expensive travel by cabinet secretaries, how much taxpayer money was wasted on this stunt? Now, no one knows for definite, but it is going to be in the hundreds of thousands. Lots of angry reactions, many of them talking about the fact that this is ignoring the very genuine protest that is being made by these players. White supremacy has the power to define kneeling as more disrespectful than the murder of black lives. Sorry, Vice President, not impressed with your phony stunt. Sincerely, a veteran. Because one of the popular things to say is that it is against the military that this protest is being made, and that was never the intention. This Twitter user pointing out that as this happened, Nazis were once again marching in Charlottesville in Virginia. They killed a woman last time out and maimed folks, but those knees, right? Pointing out the hypocrisy, really, of being so upset about that kind of protest when there are Nazis marching once again, something that seems to get ignored by the US president and his vice president. This gentleman says, "I respect your right to protest, but think a football game is an inappropriate place to flaunt your politics," because, of course, that's another one of the arguments, that sport should be somewhere that is politics-free, that these players have no right to talk about politics because they're just there to play ball. Interestingly, the Daily Beast reports that the NFL Players Association has actually defended their players, saying that they have the right to protest and that it's a source of enormous pride to them. Interesting, particularly because, of course, Colin Kaepernick, who was the man who started this whole protest, has been basically blacklisted by the teams. 222 days he's been without a team. CapWatch is keeping an eye on that. That's their Twitter account. And also this, a very grim cartoon that really shows that this is just another example of black people being oppressed. You've got a long and sordid history. Get up, you've got slavery through to segregation, through to this particular protest being deemed unacceptable. Now, if you don't know much about this, it's well worth taking a read of this article by Eric Reed. It dates back to September last month. And he explains basically why he and Colin Kaepernick decided to take a knee. And they actually hoped that it was going to be powerful and positive. He said, "We chose to kneel because it's a respectful gesture. I remember thinking our posture was like a flag flown at half-mast to mark a tragedy." And he's baffled that it's been misconstrued as disrespectful to the country, to the flag, and to the military.
Can we move on and talk about Brexit? Theresa May trying to salvage something of her reputation, making another speech today, but no one, it appears, was very impressed.
Well, no, it didn't go down terribly well, it has to be said, but she is very much fighting for her political life right now. This particular cartoonist, Brighty, painting her as Rocky 10, and she's in the ring with the EU shouting, "Come on." Now, you'll notice that Boris Johnson is in her corner, but you'll notice that he's saying, "Stay down, stay down." And this is one of the big problems. Boris Johnson, her foreign minister, is deemed to be after her job. Now, Theresa May has said that she won't hide from a challenge. She was talking about the fact that she's not going to just get rid of him to get rid of that challenge. However, many people on Twitter pointing out that she's backed down from many a challenge. This Twitter user, I imagine, has created this image of her hiding in a hedge. This one a little bit more analytical, saying she didn't debate Jeremy Corbyn, the Labour leader, before the last election. She didn't meet the victims of the Grenfell Tower massacre. She's tried not to criticise Donald Trump.
I've just seen there still hasn't been to Manchester.
Apparently not, meeting the bombing victims. What is interesting, though, is the general sexism that she faces. This interview in the Sunday Times, where she was asked, after that disastrous conference speech where everything went wrong that could go wrong, she was asked, "Did you cry afterwards?" Now, how many male politicians would be asked that? Her response was, "1 minute journalists are accusing me of being an ice maiden or a robot. Then they claim I'm a weeping woman in dire need of a good night's sleep." It seems she cannot win.
Indeed. Emma James, who always wins. Thank you very much indeed. Emma with the Media Watch. Will with the business. Great to see you, sir. And thank you for watching too. Stay with us. More to come here, live from Paris.